Mr. Sneeze. Mr. Sneeze by Roger Hargreaves. This is Coldland, which is a country somewhere near the North Pole. The weather in Coldland is winter all the time. When it isn't snowing, it's freezing, and when it isn't freezing, it's snowing. So you can imagine how cold it is. Because it's so cold in Coldland, everybody who lives there is cold as well. You can tell somebody comes from Coldland because everybody there has a red nose. And people from Coldland aren't the only ones with the red noses. In Coldland, you can see red-nosed dogs chasing red-nosed cats, chasing red-nosed mice. In Coldland, you can even see red-nosed elephants. And what you hear most of the time in Coldland is a noise that sounds like this. Achoo! The sound of sneeze is very common indeed in Coldland, which is not very surprising, is it? This is the story of Mr. Sneeze, who lives in a small snow-covered cottage in Shivertown, the capital of Coldland. Every morning, Mr. Sneeze woke up, sneezed, and got up, sneezed, got dressed, sneezed, went downstairs, sneezed, and ate breakfast, sneezed, and went to work, still sneezing. I don't like this sneezing all the time, he said. He thought to himself every day until one day he decided to leave Coldland and try to find a cure for the sneezes. So that very same day, Mr. Sneeze packed the things he'd need for his journey, mainly handkerchiefs, sneezed, locked his front door, sneezed, and set off. He walked and sneezed and walked his way across Coldland, and then he sneezed and walked and sneezed for days and days until Coldland was far behind. As he walked away from Coldland, he noticed that there was less and less snow, and eventually he walked so far that there was no snow at all. And as he walked, he noticed something else. He wasn't walking and sneezing. He was walking and walking. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sneezing. Not at all, not a bit, not even the teeniest hachoo. I wonder why I'm not sneezing, he thought to himself. But he must have thought this thought out loud to himself because a voice behind him replied, "You're not sneezing because you haven't got a cold." Mr. Sneeze jumped, turned, and there behind him stood a wise old wizard. "What's a cold?" asked Mr. Sneeze. "A cold is what you catch when you're too cold," said the wise old wizard. "Oh," said Mr. Sneeze, "but I come from a country called Coldland where everybody is too cold all the time." "Nonsense," snorted the wizard. "It can't be too cold all the time because of the sun." And he pointed to the sun, which was smiling in the sky. "But we don't have any sun in Coldland," said Mr. Sneeze. "No sun?" exclaimed the wizard. "How extremely extraordinary. Extraordinarily extraordinary. We'd better do something about that then, hadn't we?" "Yes," agreed Mr. Sneeze, not quite knowing what the wizard was talking about. "How far away is this place called Coldland?" asked Mr. Wizard. "Oh, it's miles and miles and miles away," replied Mr. Sneeze. "In which direction?" asked the wizard. Mr. Sneeze pointed. "Shouldn't that take long?" said the wizard. "Shouldn't take long," said the wizard. who then waved his magic wand and muttered some magic words, which wouldn't be magic if we told you what they were. Whatever those magic words were, they worked. Before you could say sneeze, both the wizard and Mr. Sneeze were transported to Shivertown, which you will remember is the capital of Coldland. As usual, it was snowing. "I said this is cold, gloomy place," said the wizard. "Achoo!" replied Mr. Sneeze, who had started sneezing again. "Coldland certainly needs some sunshine," said the wizard, "and that's going to take some rather special magic." "Please hurry up," said Mr. Sneeze, who was rapidly turning into a snowman. "Now," said the wizard, ignoring him, "I'm going to say some magic words, and I want you to sneeze 3 times immediately afterward." The wise old wizard then held up his magic wand and muttered some more magic words, which, again, wouldn't be magic if we told you what they were. "Achoo! Achoo! Achoo!" sneezed Mr. Sneeze. Then quite suddenly, as if by magic, which indeed it was, the sun came out from behind the big black clouds, and it stopped snowing. "There now," said the wizard, "that should stop the sneezing." And then, after muttering some magic words, and without even waiting to say goodbye, he disappeared. Mr. Sneeze just stood there in the sunshine, watching the snow begin to melt. After that, the sun shone every day, and today, Coldland isn't anything like it used to be. You can't see red-nosed dogs chasing red-nosed cats, chasing the red-nosed mice anymore. And these days, the sound of sneeze is a very uncommon sound indeed. And even Mr. Sneeze doesn't sneeze anymore. But that isn't the only thing different about Mr. Sneeze, as he discovered himself when he looked in the mirror one morning. Can you see what was different about Mr. Sneeze? It happened one other time too. See if you can find the page where that was. Let's find it. When else was his nose not red? Right there. When he went away from Coldland. All right, that was a fun story. Now let's look at all these other Mr. stories. Mr. Tickle, Mr. Greedy, Mr. Happy, Mr. Nosy, Mr. Sneeze, that's the one we just read, Mr. Bump, Mr. Snow, Mr. Messy, Mr. Topsy-Turvy, Mr. Silly, Mr. Uppity, Mr. Small, Mr. Daydream, Mr. Forgetful, Mr. Nervous, Mr. Noisy, Mr. Lazy, Mr. Funny, Mr. Stingy, Mr. Chatterbox, Mr. Fussy, Mr. Bounce, Mr. Muddle, Mr. Dizzy, Mr. Impossible, Mr. Strong, Mr. Grumpy, Mr. Clumsy, Mr. Quiet, Mr. Rush, Mr. Tall, Mr. Worry, Mr. Nonsense, Mr. Wrong, Mr. Skinny, Mr. Mischief, Mr. Clever, Mr. Busy, Mr. Slow, Mr. Brave, Mr. Grumble, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Cheerful, Mr. Cool, Mr. Rude, Mr. Good, and Mr. Nobody. All right. That was fun. Let's do one more. We're going to do Mr. Messy. Ooh, look. Mr. Messy was the messiest person you've ever met in your whole life. He looked messy because he was messy in everything he did. You could always tell where Mr. Messy had been because he left a trail of messy fingerprints wherever he'd been. Oh yes, Mr. Messy was messy by name and messy by nature. Mr. Messy lived in a particularly messy looking house. The paint was peeling, the windows were broken, there were tiles missing from the roof. The flower beds were overgrown with weeds. The garden gate was off its hinges, and Mr. Messy cut the grass in his yard lately. And had Mr. Messy cut the grass in his yard lately, he had not. One morning, Mr. Messy woke up in his messy bed, yawned, scratched, got up, brushed his teeth, leaving the top of the toothpaste, had his breakfast, spilling cornflakes all over the floor, and then set out for a walk, tripping over a broom he'd left lying in the yard 2 weeks before. There was a forest behind Mr. Messy's messy house with the messy yard, and that's where he went for his walk. It was a particularly large forest with lots and lots of trees, and it took Mr. Messy a long time to walk through it. But he didn't really mind because he felt like walking that morning. So he walked and walked right through the forest until he came to the other side. And do you know what he found on the other side of the forest? Mr. Messy found the neatest, prettiest looking little cottage that he had ever seen. It had a lovely little yard with a stream running through the middle of it. There was a man in the yard clipping the hedge. He looked up at Mr. Messy as Mr. Messy approached. "Good morning." "Hi, I'm Mr. Messy," said Mr. Messy. "I can see that," replied the man, looking up and down. "I'm Mr. Tidy." "And I'm Mr. Neat," said another man, appearing out of the house. "Tidy and neat," said Mr. Tidy. "Neat and tidy," said Mr. Neat. "We're in business together," explained Mr. Tidy, "and the people who own this house have asked us to do some work for them." "What sort of work?" asked Mr. Messy. "Oh, we make things nice and neat," said Mr. Neat. "Tidy things up," added Mr. Tidy. "Perhaps we could come along and do some work for you," said Mr. Neat, looking at Mr. Messy, who was looking even messier than usual that particular morning. "But I don't want things neat and tidy," said Mr. Messy, looking downright miserable at the thought of it. "Nonsense," said Mr. Tidy. "Fiddlesticks," said Mr. Neat. "But," said Mr. Messy. "Come along," said Mr. Neat. "Off we go," said Mr. Tidy. But, said Mr. Messy. "But nothing," said Mr. Neat, and bundling him into the van, which was parked behind the house, off they went to Mr. Messy's house on the other side of the forest. Neat and tidy. "Good heavens," said Mr. Neat when he saw where Mr. Messy lived. "Good gracious me," added Mr. Tidy. "This is the messiest house I've ever seen in all my born days." They both said together at the same time. "Better do something about it," said Mr. Neat. And before Mr. Messy could open his mouth, the two of them were rushing here and there around Mr. Messy's house. Mr. Neat hoed and mowed and pruned and snipped and clipped and cleared and dug and made the yard look neater than it had ever looked before. Mr. Tidy cleaned and primed and rubbed and painted and mended and made the outside of Mr. Messy's house look tidier than it had ever looked before. Then they both went inside the house. "Good heavens," said Mr. Neat for the second time that morning. "Good gracious me," said Mr. Tidy for the second time that morning. And then they set about cleaning the house from top to bottom. They brushed and swept and polished and scrubbed and made the inside of the house look neater and tidier than it had ever looked before. "There we are," said Mr. Tidy. "All finished," said Mr. Neat. "Tidy and neat," said Mr. Tidy. "Neat and tidy," said Mr. Neat. Mr. Messy just didn't know what to say. Then they both looked at Mr. Messy. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Mr. Neat said to Mr. Tidy. "Precisely," replied Mr. Tidy. "What we're both thinking," they said together to Mr. Messy, "is that you look much too messy to live in a neat and tidy house like this. But, said Mr. Messy. But whatever Mr. Messy said was of no use, and Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy whisked him off to the bathroom upstairs. It had been the messiest room in the house, but now, of course, it was neat as a new pin. And Mr. Neat got a hold of one of Mr. Messy's arms, and Mr. Tidy got a hold of the other arm, and they picked him up and put him right into the bath. Mr. Messy wasn't used to having baths. Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy washed and brushed and cleaned and scrubbed and combed Mr. Messy until he didn't look like Mr. Messy at all. In fact, he looked like the opposite of messy. He looked like himself in the mirror. He looked at himself in the mirror. You know what I'm going to have to do now? He asked in a rather fierce voice. Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy looked worried. What are you going to have to do? They asked Mr. Messy. I'm going to have to change my name, said Mr. Messy. And then he chuckled. Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy chuckled. And then Mr. Messy laughed. And Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy laughed. And then they all laughed together and became the best of friends. And that really is the end of the story, except to say that if you are a messy sort of person, you might have a visit from two people. And you know what they are called, don't you? Mr. Neat and Mr. Tidy, right? Excellent. All right. That was great.